All right, I had a request for some Van Halen. Van Halen is typically very difficult stuff, right? We all know that. So anyway, this is the first song from the first album, Runnin With The Devil. It's not too crazy complicated. It is in dropped half step tuning, so you got to dip everything down a half step. So once we get that going, we're going to have this. That's going to be kind of our main chords. We got the D string, the G string, fives, into the sevens. And there is one little thing he does he takes his pick down here behind the strings, kind of rakes across like that at the beginning of the song after the bass comes in. You know, the bass is doing boom, dom, and then he's like, and then he comes in with his chords. So that's our first thing. Then we're going to take these sevens. We're going to take the sevens of the D, G, and B strings, slide it into the nines, and then we're going to go into this kind of Rolling Stones kind of chord. You got the 11, 9, and 10 coming back to the nines. So that's like part of an A chord going back to an E chord. So we got C to D, kind of just power chords, and then D up to E, and then this is the A to E. And then he kind of slides down from this 19th fret. So you can kind of just estimate around where it is, you know, or you can look for that kind of that dot right there. Okay, so that's a main riff of the tune for sure. Okay, we do that for a while, and then we're gonna get into this verse. So we got our A power chord, we got to that G up there, back to the A. So there's a couple places to play these. So you can do the 10 on the 5th string with the 9 on the 4th string. Kind of has an A bass in between each of these, so it's like. And that's the 9 and the 7 on those strings. And then the 7 and the 5, so it's like. Now you could have done that over here with 5, 4 in these strings, 4 and 2, 2 and 0, or you could have gone 7 and 5 on that last one. So same thing. So here we're just doing the first 2 sets, and then we have harmonics. So 12, 12 on the 2 bottom strings, 2nd and then 1st, and then same thing on the 7th fret. So a whole verse would be like. Back to this. And then we go. Here we go to that 7 and 5 from the kind of an E minor chord. And then we hit an E power chord there. So the last part would be like. Instead of that 4-2, we're going to go to this lower one. And then we're back to our C to D. And see how I use those 2 fingers there, and then I can get some vibrato going on those 7s. And I have seen a tab that went, and it had it doing this hammer on here, but it doesn't sound right to me. It sounds like it's this chord sliding up, that whole major chord. So you got another verse. Now this one does a trill on the 5 and 8 on the 2nd string. And then you're back in the rest of the verse. Then this one to the E and. So obviously like 4 of those. Now we're going to get into the solo. Okay, so we're gonna slide into this 14. This is part of an A chord. So we slide into the D string and then the G string on those 14s. So we're gonna go up to the second string and then 15, 17. Back to that 15. So this is like a pull off here in the second. Down those strings. So we got. Then you go down those strings again. Do the exact same thing on the 12th fret. And then slide back up to 14. So when that one goes, does that pull off right there, you're gonna go up to the 17. A couple bends up and down. And then we're gonna go 12 over here in the second string. 12, 12, 13, 15, 13. And then we have these few chords here at the end. So we have the 15 and the 14, part of a D, and then up a half step. And then you're kind of bending that 16th fret of the second string, like one fret worth, like a half step. And then it kind of all slides down. So it's kind of hard to get it just right. So the end of that solo is like, and then you're back to. So the riff doesn't go that many times to get you into that last verse coming up. So we got. Back to a little harmonic type riff. Might be a little different. Then we got that 7/5 to the E. Main riff. So let's try that riff nice and slow. 2, 3, and. And then the solo will come up again, slide into the 14s. Kind of just do a big bend on that 15 on the bottom there, and then same ending. Okay, so we got. Okay, and then that first solo was. Okay, let's take that nice and slow. Here goes the solo. Right, and the second solo. And then we're back into the riff. And it keeps doing that and it finally ends with. All right, so that was some Van Halen. I'll have more Van Halen coming up. I was going to do a lesson of just a bunch of kind of easy riffs, But I got into that one. I was like, that one's not too difficult. I think everybody can jam with that one. And it's one of his easiest solos, really. So I hope you guys dug that. And that was by request. Once again, thanks again for the request, dude, man. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Peace out.